Severed Dreams is Babylon 5's finest hour. Years of build-up culminating in one of the show's greatest space battles, where the stakes couldn't possibly be higher. Let me tell you the story of Severed Dreams, and how it changed Babylon 5 and television forever. The Hugos are the big daddy of science fiction awards, going all the way back to the 1950s. In 1997, they had a category called Best Dramatic Presentation. This covered everything from movies to shorts to TV to radio plays, all lumped into one category. Basically everything that wasn't a book. That year, the contenders included Independence Day, Star Trek First Contact, probably the best of the TNG movies, Tim Burton's Mars Attacks, and Deep Space Nine's highly regarded episode Trials and Tribulations, where it crossed over with the original series. Oh, and there was one other.
Babylon 5, the episode Severed Dreams.
Despite the stiff competition, when they were reading out the nominations, you could tell who was going to win.
And the winner is Severed Dreams, Babylon 5.
In his acceptance speech, series creator J. Michael Straczynski said his aim with the episode was to completely upend what everyone had thought was possible on television.
The questions in television tend to be ephemeral and trivial. Will they get the bad guy? Will the bomb go off before our guys can save the truck? We know what those answers are. I wanted to do a show. I said, who are you? What do you want? Where are you going? And why are you here? Because those answers aren't easily defined.
Don't do it. We've got women and children down here.
Severed Dreams is the kickoff to one of the show's biggest stories, Babylon 5's entanglement with the Earth's civil war. But while it is a single episode of television, it benefits massively from a 3.5-year build-up. Now, Babylon 5's action was mostly confined to a single location, the space station, but it was really great at getting across these big ideas about what's happening around the galaxy. Way back in Season 1, you got this idea that there was a current of xenophobia and isolationism on Earth.
Stay away from Earth, freak!
In the episode War Prayer, we meet these anti-alien terrorists called the Home Guard. And far from being isolated nutjobs, we discover they have plenty of friends in high places who sympathize with their views.
Get rid of alien influences. Get rid of aliens. Put Earth first.
Over the course of the show, we also get lots of little moments of casual xenophobia from average Joe humans at the station bar.
What do you call 2 billion dead Marcabs? Planetary redecorating.
This stuff goes all the way back to the show's prehistory. The human race had nearly been wiped out by the Minbari some years before the events of the show, and that left a lasting scar on the collective psyche of humanity. Parallel to all this is a storyline revolving around the assassination of Earth's president. Sheridan gets sucked into things when he's recruited by General Haig into a conspiracy to uncover the truth about what happened. They eventually find evidence that Vice President Morgan Clark was behind the assassination.
The power is now yours, Clark. Mr. President.
Over the course of Season 2, we see policy shifting under the Clark government. In the past, humanity used to stand up to aggressive powers like the Dilgar. But in Season 2, when the Centauri are waging wars of conquest and bombing Narn back into the Stone Age, we see how things have changed. Instead of standing up to the aggressors, Earth signs a non-aggression pact. The Clark administration is putting Earth first, even if that means cozying up to the worst kinds of people. We also see creeping authoritarianism at home. A shadowy group called the Night Watch starts appearing everywhere, including Babylon 5. Lovable everyman Zach Allen gets sucked in. Initially he's paid a few extra credits, and all he has to do is wear a black armband around the station.
Earth wants to throw around its money, who might say no?
But over time, he comes under growing pressure to snitch on others for any sign of disloyalty or sedition. All of this stuff builds up to Severed Dreams, which I said was just one single episode, but it's kind of really 3 episodes. The 2 before it directly set up the action. In Messages from Earth, Sheridan goes on a dangerous covert mission into Earth Alliance space. Scientists are on the verge of waking up a shadow ship they found buried on Ganon. Sheridan has to leave his uniform behind, which foreshadows where this is all eventually going. There's a really good little space battle where Sheridan uses clever tactics to beat the shadow ship. But then he finds himself face to face with Earth Force, namely his former ship, the Agamemnon. He manages to avoid a fight this time, but the encounter establishes his extreme reluctance to fire on his own people. In the next episode, Point of No Return, the Civil War erupts. Clark uses the incident with the Shadow Vessel as the final piece of anti-alien propaganda he needs to declare martial law and crush all opposition to his rule.
As of this moment, Babylon 5 belongs to the Night Watch.
The Night Watch attempt to take over on Babylon 5, but Sheridan outmaneuvers them, using the letter of the law to sidestep the intention of the law.
The political office is assigned responsibility for off-world security to Night Watch personnel exclusively.
He realizes that the Night Watch takeover order is illegal, because it came from the political office rather than the military hierarchy, or directly from the president himself. And he's technically correct. The best kind of correct there is. Once again, direct confrontation with Earth is avoided for now, but the walls are closing in on the B5 crew. Now, Babylon 5 was already pushing the boundaries of 90s television. Its long story arc set it apart from other shows that were much more episodic. But even so, there's an expectation with a show like this that things will eventually return to the status quo. B5 plays around with this by giving the characters those very same expectations.
Of evidence purporting to show that the death of President Santiago was not an accident.
When they release evidence that Clark had the president assassinated, they fully believe justice will prevail and he'll be ousted. After they beat the Night Watch, they're confident General Haig and his loyalists in the military will turn the tide. But each time, it's met with a kick in the face. Clark's propaganda machine is too strong for any evidence or truth to unseat him.
4 of the 5 cruisers that defected with General Haig have been shot down. They say he's on the run.
And far from winning the day, General Haig's forces are routed. And you'll never guess where they're heading.
There's only one place safe for us. Set course for Babylon 5.
Severed Dreams is the inflection point. It's all been building to this. There's nowhere left to hide. Sheridan is still hopeful they'll find a way out, but those hopes keep getting dashed.
Where's General Haig?
General Haig was killed in our last firefight.
Now, with this particular twist, it quite literally wasn't meant to be this way. The original script had Haig returning to take refuge on the station, but the actor ended up pulling out for another booking.
Admiral Layton, good to see you again, sir.
And not just any other booking. He jumped ship for Deep Space Nine to play a role as one of Star Trek's many, many corrupt admirals. Having joined the competition, Haig had to be killed off. But it actually makes the episode better. All this time, Sheridan is hoping Haig will know what to do, only to find out that he's dead, and everyone is now turning to him for answers. Even here, he doesn't want to take up arms against his own people. He initially makes it clear to the crew that they're providing humanitarian assistance to the incoming ships, not that they're joining the rebels. But a short while later, he learns that Clark's forces are coming to arrest him anyway, that they've already pegged him as disloyal, that there is no way out. In this moment, they do this wonderful shot, like a Scorsese-style dolly zoom, as Sheridan faces the realization that they'll have to fight. They keep the camera on his face for a really long time and lower the volume on the other dialogue. It's great. It really gets across that sick, sinking feeling in the pit of his stomach.
What was the first lesson I ever taught you?
Never start a fight, but always finish it.
Sheridan takes a moment to speak to his father, not knowing when he'll ever get to see him again. The episode does a great job driving home the consequences of the decision to fight. He gives all the command staff a chance to have their say. By choosing to stand and fight, they risk their lives, their careers, their families.
I say fight.
They might never get to go home again, and history might remember them as traitors. Ahead of the battle, he gives the rest of the crew a chance to back out. And in the background, you see some choose to walk away. The stakes really couldn't get any bigger.
Babylon 5 is seceding from the Earth Alliance. We will remain an independent state until President Clark is removed from office.
And all of it leads up to one of Babylon 5's greatest space battles. I personally think Season 4's fight for Proxima edges it out, but I can definitely see why so many of you prefer this one. It's got everything. It's not just the high stakes. We have this really clear idea of the forces on both sides. Sheridan is outnumbered, but Babylon 5 got a formidable weapon upgrade in Season 2, so we get the impression that these two sides are pretty evenly matched. The action is clear, and it's easy to follow what's happening. We have main character point of views in key positions. Sheridan is on the bridge of Babylon 5, while Ivanova is out with the Star Furies. At the same time, Garibaldi is fighting a boarding action going on deep in the bowels of the station. This part is really essential. Seeing actual people dying on both sides makes it much more visceral than in a version where all we got to see were CGI spaceships. The battle rages until we reach the big turning point. The Churchill, one of Sheridan's allies, is damaged beyond repair. And it's here where the captain chooses to ram one of the relatively undamaged enemy ships. It's a move that believably shifts the battle in their favor. Now, we only got to meet the captain of this ship for the first time in this episode. but we get to know her just well enough that it hits home when she makes the ultimate sacrifice. The whole sequence is full of great little moments. My personal favorite is this one, where the station takes a hit, and Sheridan is also injured in the blast. The station is damaged, he's damaged, it's like he is the human embodiment of the station. I love it. In the end, the heroes prevail, but there's no celebration, only exhausted relief.
Oh no.
That's when we get the kicker. A second flotilla of enemy ships shows up. Things seem totally hopeless. That is until Delenn arrives with the Minbari fleet, uttering this immortal line.
Only one human captain has ever survived battle with the Minbari fleet. He is behind me. You are in front of me. If you value your lives, be somewhere else.
Now this could have felt like a contrivance or a Deus Ex Machina, but it doesn't. Sheridan had won a hard-fought battle fair and square. The Clark reinforcements feel like he's being cheated out of victory, an injustice that's corrected by Delenn's arrival. We leave the characters as they reflect on what's happened, and the dust settles on a brand new status quo. Babylon 5 started out as a show about a United Nations in space, trying to resolve problems between alien races and prevent wars from breaking out. But from this moment on, it's not the same show anymore. Now it's about a rebel space station, acting as an independent state. No longer are the crew of Babylon 5 trying to prevent war. Now it's the story of forming an alliance, fighting for what's right, and building a new peace. But what do you think? Is this Babylon 5's best episode? Did it change our expectations of what television could be? Let me know in the comments. That's all for this one. I'll be seeing you.